Kini beliau merupakan pengarah Pusat Inovasi Mahasiswa dan Teknologi Keusahawanan UTM XCITE. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, kini dipersilakan Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ramesh ZAIDI ROZAN untuk menyampaikan ucap tama yang bertajuk Melestarikan Penyelidikan dan Inovasi ke arah Revolusi Industri 4.0. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Puan, mic ni boleh bawa ke sana. Saya nak handle mic. Boleh bawa ke sana. Mikrofon tu ada gerak. Okey.
Lah.
Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi semua. Terima kasih pada Puan Pengerusi Majlis, Penolong Timbalan Rektor dan juga pengarah Penyelidikan. Saya ingin ucapkan banyak terima kasih kerana memberi peluang kepada saya untuk buat sedikit sharing berkenaan dengan topik melestarikan penyelidikan dan inovasi ke arah revolusi industri 4.0. Okey, so izinkan saya sampaikan presentation ni dalam bahasa Inggeris. Is it okay? Boleh eh? Okay, so what will I touch? Okay, I think most of us know that we are in the verge of going into IR 4.0. But most of us don't really understand what is IR 4.0. Okay, so here I would like to share a little bit on what is R&I, Research and Innovation. Okay, I think most of you know what is research and innovation, but just touch a bit more on that. And then I'm going to share a little one case on approaching IR 4.0, and later on introduce you to the concept of computational thinking, which it's an approach, it's a concept and approach which we use, which help you to actually develop a research outcome and also product, okay, towards IR 4.0. Okay, so I would like to my expectation for this presentation is you become aware of the opportunity for IR 4.0 for many disciplines. Okay, may I know by raise of hands if you feel that your discipline, your bidang, will be out or you won't be employed during IR 4.0. Can you raise your hand? Anyone feel that maybe you will not get job or you will lose your job when it's time for IR 4.0? Okay, none. Eh? Okay, that's good. That means you are very positive on that. All right. And I also expect that you are able to understand a little bit more on computational thinking, the concepts, particularly for problem and solution formulation towards IR 4.0 and innovative approach. Okay, just a little bit about me. I hope you can. This is my face. Okay, is also, but that's one slide. A little bit about me. I have several experience in several jobs and also several industry, in tourism industry, in lab testing industry. I'm also having my own company previously. Okay, which I actually do ICT and many other business projects. I have been in an international firm developing systems. Okay, and not to forget, I was also a secondary teacher, teaching physics in SMK Sri Perling. Okay, so at least I get some what they call experience, not for long, around 3 years. Okay. Actually, morning I'm teaching, afternoon I was doing system development for this company. Okay, and then I'm also tutoring. I was also tutoring for UPM last time in Lakin Perdana. Now I'm teaching in university. I'm a tertiary teacher, and I'm still doing my system analysis and business analysis facilitation. Okay, which helped me a lot on connecting what are the requests or requirement from users towards developing systems. Okay, and I'm also mentoring entrepreneurs. Okay, for the time being, I have under around 20 entrepreneurs, technology entrepreneurs under me who I'm mentoring. All right. Okay, just revisiting on some cycle. Okay, we call it research cycle. I think most of you understand this. Most of you are very familiar. Okay, research cycle. If you Google, if you use the term research cycle, you can get thousands and millions of pictures. So I just extract one and put it here for the sake of discussion. Okay, so research cycle: identify your research aim, choose an appropriate experimental method, conduct your research, analyze the data, and publish your research finding. That is normally what people do. All right, but what if we have innovation? Put it, or maybe it's merged, or maybe it's an independent body, independent cycle, which is not in the research cycle. For example, if you look at innovation, here is the same. If you Google innovation, you can get a lot of images. Here it shows you inquire, ideate, incubate, implement. All right. So if you have time, you can actually connect between this what they call component of the cycle, between research cycle and innovation cycle. All right. So many of us are familiar with that, but sometimes we have questions. Some people say research and innovation are disconnected. Okay, why is it? Let's see. I get one question always from lecturers. Innovation is more a synonym of product development than a component of research. Can I see a raise of hand if you agree on this? Innovation is more a synonym of product development than a component of research. Is it false? If false, can you raise your hand? One. How about two? Okay. So is it between true or false? Can you raise your hand? Alamak, itu tak dapat markah lah It's between true and false. Okay. So how do we make sure that innovation is not just a component of a product development in a research? This is actually a big dilemma, frankly. Okay? Let me show you. This one is very simple. The researcher studies thermodynamics. The innovator developed the toaster. Okay, at the end of the day, the researcher was like, oh my God, I developed that concept, that principle, but someone else developed the product. Okay? So it's always, you can see this. All right? Because I'm dealing with technology entrepreneurs since 2002. Okay, and I'm also one of them. So I understand the concern faced by lecturers, researchers. They are always thinking about research, which the innovation is not there. Okay? But now it's changing, especially with the young generation. Okay? So we have to really listen to the young generation. All right. So that is a little bit on research innovation. I will leave those true, false, or in the middle decision on you. Okay? So that you can rethink about it. Okay? And what is Industrial Revolution 4.0? And also what is Industry 4.0? What is it all about? Okay, we can see there's a revolution since 100 years, several hundred years ago, from number one, water and steam power. Okay, we know, we heard about this. Okay, even when we learn about science and history in science, we know about some of the inventors and innovators. All right, and then we also know in 1870 what we call as Industrial Revolution. Okay, second Industrial Revolution, which labor and mass production, especially here Henry Ford. Okay, so developing cars, four-wheel cars. And then we have third Industrial Revolution. And now we are in the verge of Industrial 4.0. Okay, so third industrial Revolution 3.0 or Industry 3.0, okay, is always talking about ICT. We know it's about ICT. ICT is the driver for that. Okay? But if we go into fourth IR of Industry 4.0, it's still ICT, but it's a connected, or we call it, let's say, a cyber physical system. Okay, so it's no longer only ICT, it's dependent on others. Mechanical, communication, okay, satellite, sensors, some big words like IoTs, clouds, and so on. I think everyone knows, have heard about it, okay? But where actually are we? Where are we actually? Okay, maybe we cannot answer where are we. Where am I? Yourself, answer to yourself. Okay, answer to yourself. Where am I now? All right, so it's very long, but I just highlighted the 4 points from McKinsey. The next phase in the digitization of manufacturing sector. Number 1, the rise in data volume. Okay, the rise in data volume. Number 2, emergence of analytics and business intelligence capabilities. Number 3, human-machine interaction. Number 4 is to transfer or transferring of digital instruction to the physical world. Okay, so these are the basics of this Industrial Revolution 4.0. Okay, I hope you can remember. Okay, we will be having exam later on. No exam. All right, so it's not really hard to remember. Maybe the most difficult thing is to identify where are we now. All right, so that's the very important question. Okay, so you can see based on this 2014 expectation, there's a lot of technology there. Okay, and you can see the peak at that time is this was 4 years ago. IoT was at the peak. Okay, and it's still going to be in the peak, and we can see some of the technology already become phasing out. Okay, for your information, in 2014 here, natural language question answering. My field is in natural language processing. I did it in 2007. I graduated my PhD in 2007. So that was really a high emerging technology during that time. But now it's already become, everyone is using it. Okay, you can use Google Translate. You can even talk to, to your handphone and give instruction, or even say words they will type for you. Speech to text, text to speech. All right? So it becomes like very common. All right? Okay. Let me just share with you. I know we are talking about research innovation in towards IR 4.0. Okay? But let's see one case. So I want you to answer a few questions later. Okay? Let's see some case. One case. I just show one case. All right. So asset visibility. If you look here, asset visibility normally used in manufacturing sector, normally used in logistics, okay, and even personal. For example, locating your keys, locating your handphones, okay. So it's actually through the use of LBS, location-based system, or GPS, and so on, and many more, okay. It's very common, right? Number 2, process visibility. This one is no longer talking about only location, but it is looking at how the location moved from one point to, how the item moved from one point to the other. And it interacts with several processes. Okay? So if you are, let's say, give one example, in, let's say you are in logistics, if you have a location-based system, on the asset visibility, you can see maybe your lorry, your big lorry, with millions of dollars of asset, okay? And you can see it's parked in one of the, what they call, R&R. Let's say in R&R Machap, okay? And you know it's, whether it's should be there or not, it will detect through the process visibility. Okay? In process visibility, it will tell, oh, this lorry shouldn't be there. Okay, it should be already southbound, no longer in Machap, but it should be in Sekudai. Something like that. Okay, so it's telling you not only location, but whether it's the right place to have or not. Okay, so this is very basic, but the impact is very big because it's being used for many applications. Okay, so movement of assets, interaction with processes. And then we have also what we call error proofing. Error proofing. For example, I give this case. This is a very, what they call, traditional case. If you see the red zone and the green zone, the red zone is a zone where they don't allow handrail to be there. You can see the guy over there, the operator is having one handrail. So the handrail can only be operated in the green zone. Okay. So what happened? The machine will be automatically on or off. Okay? If either they are outside of the green or inside of the red. It's an automatic control. So if I bring my drill, I go to the green zone, I can operate it because wirelessly the machine controls it. Control the off and on. If you go to the red zone, you won't be able to operate. So to make sure there's no error happen. Okay, maybe the red zone is a fully automated drilling system. You don't need to have a hand drill. Okay? So this is error proofing. And reactive control. Reactive control is where we control movement, overall movement. Okay, I give one example here. It's in a factory. So if it's in a factory, any one of you have visited car factory before? We have one very near Tampoy, right? Okay, I visited there with my student last time when I was a teacher. Okay, so there will be several operators doing their tasks. All right. So what happened if, let's say, they are doing one task and they are not complying with the time? They have only 5 seconds left, and then when they want to drill something or they want to screw something, they don't have that 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So what happened? Okay, the machine will stop. Okay, the process will stop. So what happened? Supervisor will have to come and actually check. And it will take a long time. Because once this machine stops in the middle, it will take a long time to regain the process. All right? So a lot of priceless time gone here. Okay. If we look here, these are 4 components: asset visibility, process visibility, error proofing, and reactive controls. I just want to know from you, okay? I want to know your response. What kind of industry is this? Is it industry 3.0 or industry 4.0? Please raise your hand if you say it's industry 4.0. Okay? 1 hand. 2 hands. 2. Okay? What if, please raise your hand if you say it's not industry 4.0. Okay. So it's industry 3.0. If it's not 4.0, what is it? 3.0. So which one is the truth? Is it 3.0 or 4.0? From this. So chunky, eh? You can see these processes are very sophisticated. But actually, frankly speaking, it is still within industry 3.0. So where are we now actually? Are we having this? Or we are not having it? If we don't have it, we are not in industry 3.0. We are before industry 3.0. Oh my God, this is very dangerous. Okay, you get my point, eh? So the difference between industry 4.0, okay, let me tell you, from what I mentioned just now, the location, the process, the error, and also the whole mechanism can be classified into 3. The 1 and 2 is actually measuring. Okay, number 3 is actually control, and number 5 is actually react. Okay? So all these things are fundamental for IR 3.0 and 4.0. Fundamental. This is very fundamental for IR 3.0 and 4.0. Okay. But let me tell you, measure, control, and react, we can have measurement done by machines. Okay? For example, if you are flying a plane, and you see a big mountain in front of you. Okay? So you will have alert. In the cockpit, they will have alert. Okay, climb up, terrain. I really don't like that word. It's really spooky for me. Okay? If you like to watch aircraft disaster, then you can understand what it means. Terrain, the same sound all over the world. Okay? So, that is actually a warning from the system. But, who is actually controlling it? Human, right? The human have to actually control it. Okay? So, controlling it, looking at it, based on some rules, oh, we have to react. So, do some reaction. So, if you can see here, there are still element of human within that. If we can have no human engagement or no human activities there, it will be IR 4.0. You get my point? Okay? So if it is fully measure, fully control, fully react, it will be 4.0. For example, you can see an automatic drone. Okay? We can see driverless car. Okay? Which are now being tested last time by Uber, now it's in Japan. They are doing it for the Olympic 2020. So that is IR 4.0. Okay? So if you can see the difference, then you know what kind of innovation that you have to embed in your research towards IR 4.0. Right? Okay, so there are several things, okay, how to get to 4.0. Several things that some of the advice. Okay? So we are still in 3.0 actually, and we are going into 4.0. So if you see here, I'm so sorry, suddenly the font changes when I plug in into the computer, so it becomes very small. Okay. So we know that human beings are able to perform absolutely high complexity tasks. We know that, even repeatedly. Okay? Some of you may not be happy with that, but even repeatedly. Alamak, ini lagi, betul banyak-banyak ini lagi. Like you do operation, surgical and so on, in operation theater and so on. So you have that, okay? But one of the challenges that we are facing now is we call handling process variability. Okay, what's the meaning of process variability? There's a degree of variability between one task to the other task. I think most of us have always heard, let's do multitasking. I think very common, right? Everyone actually heard, hey, your boss will say, hey, you are not multitasking enough. Please, multitasking. Okay, I always tell my PA, you are not multitasking, but it's okay. I have all the machines doing, so I don't need you. So my PA say, just keep quiet, for a few seconds, look at me. Are you sure, sir, you don't want me? Yeah. So it's a testing for 5 days, and later on, actually, I still need her. But I have my own PA, which is Google, for my calendaring. Okay, so that part is not handled by her. Okay, so talking about handling variability, people jump to one task to the other, and those tasks are complicated and highly complex tasks. Okay, so we need some kind of focus to do. That is why a lot of industry, they feel like I don't need human being to do. That's why they develop machine learning, artificial intelligence to do this. Okay? So machine learning, artificial intelligence, those are the things which are trying to actually replace human to do this, to handle this process variability. Okay? Very difficult to pronounce. Okay. Let me share with you. I don't know whether you have read this book. Any one of you have read this book? This book was written 3 years before I was born, in 1970. Okay? And the very interesting thing by Mr. Toffler, in 1970 he mentioned, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn. So learn, unlearn and relearn, LUR, okay, is a very, very important thing which is now we are facing. Okay, like YB mentioned just now, how fast are we going to learn new things? How are we going to make sure that our full cup, we throw it, pour out a bit and put a new water inside? Okay, so this is about learning, unlearn and relearn. And if you have time, try to get this book, Deep Work. Anyone have read this book? It's very good for us. You know why? How many minutes in your day that you don't have your computer, your small computer, your smartphone with you? How many minutes in a day that you don't have your handphone with you? 0? Even go to tandas also bring handphone. Okay? No, Okay. Some people like that. Okay? Either sengaja, tak sengaja. Alright. So, what happened in this book? It's mentioned that the ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare. At exactly the same time, it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. What does it mean? It means that there will be a lot of shift of work. Your tasks will be shifted, okay? Because there will be new things coming. You have to learn new things. Before that, you have to, okay, unlearn and relearn. So that means you are going to do new things. What happened here? If you couldn't focus on a new way of learning, that means you will be less valuable in the economy. Okay, why am I telling this? Okay, because when you want to move forward, okay, into IR 4.0, we are not becoming machine. We are not the, apa they call, humble. We are not the slave of the machine. We should be coding, developing creatively and put machine as our slave, not the other way around. Not like Terminator. I think you watched Terminator, I'll be back. All right? So how do we get from 3.0 to 4.0? Okay. Be selfish. Wow, this is very bad word. Wow, you are telling me to be selfish? Okay, let me just share something. Let's look at our students. If we ask them to do something, especially the young generation, they will be very excited, right? Oh, something, because I'm the leader for Digital Maker Hub, Southern Region. So if I give them some tools, some embedded technology, Arduino and so on, controller, they were so happy with it. Oh, they will play around. They will play like crazy. Okay? The only thing they will just play without some scope, without any scope. They just play because they feel like it's very excited. They just do. But at the end of the day, what happened to them? Okay? Because they start developing too big and they have a lot of issues. They will lose their motivation. They will stop. Okay? So our role, not only to our student, but also to ourselves, is to make sure that we start small. Start small. Okay? So to go for IR 4.0, First thing we have to do is be selfish because we have to start something small. It's a bottom-up things. We ask the student to do, but make it small, manageable. This is very important, manageable. Okay? I think most of you heard about hackathons. You heard about hackathons, right? Here and there they have hackathons. We just finished one hackathon. End of next month we have one hackathon, 2 hackathons actually in UTM. Okay, if you are interested, you can join. I will share with you. So those hackathons are where they can actually produce their prototype. Either it's a process or it's a product. So this prototype is actually what we call their minimum viable product. So start small and become selfish. So bad, eh? But that's how it goes. All right. And number 2, be forward thinking. Of course, when you develop things related to IR 4.0, okay, there are a lot of components that you will connect to. Probably the student or yourself will develop 1 or 2 things, and later on you feel like, oh, maybe we have to connect to the other guy who is having the same machine. So we have to have a communication module. After communication module, we have to know who have to send message to, who is the first person to send message, and so on. So we have to think forward. Okay, forward thinking is very important. And then number 3 is be cooperative. Okay, it looks very common, everyone. We have to be very cooperative. Okay, but here, why it's become one of the advice is because when we develop something in a small manner, some other party will look at us. Oh, this guy is doing something very nice. It's very contagious. We call it very contagious. If you don't believe, go and join hackathon. Either it's 36 hours without sleep or 56 hours without sleep. It's up to you. Join hackathon and see how contagious it is to see your friend doing and you are, oh my God, I want to do like that. No need to go to hackathon. Even 5 minutes before exam, your friend opening up book, what are you reading? You also get like sakit jantung already. Oh, I have to read this, maybe it comes out. You pun, oh my God, last night I already read, now I forget. Because of that, panic. Okay? So be cooperative. That means when someone else wanted to know more, work with them, share with them, especially research. Okay? Especially research. So in UTM, we have RUG, Research University Grant. We have all these small grants, and we have also bigger grants. The small grants is actually to see how good are you to do those very small scope. Okay? Because it's bottom up. You do it. You propose, you tell what you want to do. You do it. I will tell you another way of doing, which is very different. It's a top-down. I will show you later. And be supportive. Okay, whenever it comes to, because just now we cooperate, and now we have to actually, because it's bottom-up, when you work together with many, okay, you must have a leader or 2 or 3 collaborators of leaders who actually work together, okay, and supporting to your research, to your device and so on, device development. Okay, so this is the last one in the 3.0, but one of the things that very important for 4.0, I tell you, because these are the journey, is to do a top-down. Okay, top-down, collaborative. Top-down is where, just now we are doing bottom-up. Okay, I give you one example. Just last month, in my university UTM, we started with a grant called TDR, Transdisciplinary Research. Okay, so all the while, since we became research university, we have RUG, Research University Grant. So just recently, there's been a paradigm change. Okay, because I think some of you know, UTM has been restructured. I also moved to a new school. Okay, more opportunity. I go to business school, more opportunity. Last time I was in School of Computing. So they, from 17 faculties now become 7 faculties or 7 schools. You imagine, there's a big change. Okay, so these changes affect also our way of managing our funds for research. Okay, so TDR was introduced. So in TDR, okay, they allow us to have 3 to 5 projects. So these projects, 3 to 5 projects, is bottom up. It's bottom up project. So we actually look at what we want to do and connect with each other. It's bottom up. And later on, we have a big umbrella we call program. So these programs are actually the transdisciplinary research element that the university wants us to do. It's top down. So no longer that you do one small research and pass it to the examiner, evaluator, and they will say, oh, this is good research. Sign and give you 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. Now no longer like that. Bottom up and then combine with top down. So the top down, they will give you some themes. So these themes, this thema will actually help you in identifying what are the best programs for you so that you can win. So what happened here, the top management is becoming very collaborative to us. The top management come down, do like, I think, in 2 weeks, like 3 to 4 roadshows, okay? Because they want to actually support and collaborate us from top down. Okay, so it's similar because we have to understand in IR 4.0, if all the systems are there based on bottom-up development, okay, they won't talk to each other. It's impossible for them to talk to each other. Okay, so we need a top-down approach to help. Then the top-down guy or the top management will look, these are the things we have to connect to the other one. Can you collaborate with each other? You work with him, you work with him. So this is how, okay, because everybody is developing. Okay, there's one thing similar to this. I don't know whether you know in 2000, before 2008, in India they have 17 national languages. 17 national languages in India. So of course Hindi, Tamil we know, Malayalam we know, Kannada, Devanagari, all these some of us don't actually know. Okay? So at that time, if you browse the internet, let's say you go to one Tamil page in India, any website in India, Tamil page, .in, so you can see, oh, you wouldn't be able to read the news. Let's say it's a news. So they will provide you on the right-hand side or left-hand side, please download font. You click and download. When you download the font, then your computer will start knowing that that is actually Tamil. Then you can read nicely. All right? It's very common, right? I think all of us had that experience. But if you go to another Tamil page, you click, you open up the page, you wouldn't able to read. But you have already downloaded the font. What happened? You have to download again another font. And then you go to another Tamil page, you have to download again another font. What is this? So every page you go, mostly you have to download a new table, or we call it font tables. Because the font, the writing, the script is mapped to a different alphabet in the keyboards, because they are done bottom up. You know, people who are doing bottom up, they don't have standard. So we call this as an we call this group as an exotic group. Okay, because it's my research. I was doing natural language processing. So I look at that case. So we came out with a proposal to the TDIL, Technology Development of India, in language. We come out with a proposal, it should be standardized. So we need a top-down approach to make it standard. Okay, so that is one thing happened to support or to solve the language digital divide. Okay, so when I think are you familiar with Unicode? Okay, Unicode is a encoding system on the internet. Now, if you open any page, automatically it will translate. It will put in the right font. All right, because they have a Unicode. It's a universal code for every language. Okay. Okay. So when we look at what we have discussed, there's a very high research demand towards IR 4.0. Okay, because we have various fields such as IT security, humanity. Okay, some people may be surprised. What? Humanity in IR 4.0? How does it work? Okay, especially digital ethics. And it will affect education here, it mentioned. So we need to acquire new skills. It goes back to learn, unlearn, relearn just now. So at the end of the day, we are responsible for it. We are in the education sector, so we are responsible for it. Right. Okay, so when we look at this, there are several research and teaching issues which people are looking now towards for IR. I think STEM is one of the biggest one. A lot of people are looking into STEM. Talking about STEM, they go. STEAM also they go. STEM, STEAM, arts. And then I come out with a new one, STEAM. Okay? The first E, I cannot disclose. Soon, eh? Okay, so there's, in front there's an E, STEAM, ESTEM. All right? And then not to forget, ICT is still there. Okay? So many people are still educating themselves towards IR 4.0 on this. And many more, not only these three. And many more. Okay. How about social sciences? Social sciences. Do we still have place for social sciences in IR 4.0? Okay. So many reports says there's an uncertainty. Okay. There are uncertainty. Okay. However, those social skills, generic skills, soft skills has proven to increase value. Okay. Currently, there's a lot of research on that. That's the first question I asked. How many of us feel like our job will still be available if we implement IR 4.0? The first question I asked. So, as a teacher, researcher, innovator, people still need us because it's very complex and the machine doesn't do that. Okay? But let's see one by one. Okay, we have launched UTM 4.0. Okay, it's, if you are familiar with it, okay, it's already on the news a few years back, last year actually. And I'm one of the partner here. This is my former Deputy Vice Chancellor, also my mentor. Okay, so she actually mentioned about a lot of research paradigm change, innovation paradigm change, and how the humanities, School of Humanities, actually can play a very big role in IR 4.0. So we come out with a study, we call it Humanizing IR 4.0. Okay. So here, future jobs, people are concerning on what are the skill and competency. Computer engineer, system analyst, personal care, nurses, and so on. Okay. I don't know. But if you see the future, probably, maybe this one will never exist anymore, or we will still have that job in future. Let's see. Okay. So people are talking about future classroom because we are talking about learning, learn, unlearn, relearn. Okay. So this is our future classroom. Maybe is this how you actually see the future classroom? Or some of us just sitting down a tree with their iPad. Okay. Or sitting down an artificial tree with artificial friend, with artificial cats. Okay, some people, because I asked very simple. Can you imagine, I asked students and lecturers, how the future classroom looks like. So they start drawing. Okay, so many things I found very interesting. Okay, but okay, we can dream of that. But Jack Ma mentioned this is a long time ago, okay, more than 60 years ago, and this is now. Nothing changed much. It's still similar. Okay, so Jack Ma mentioned, if we are still teaching, educating our kids same as 30 years ago, so that means we will be having problem in future. Big problem. Okay, so that's why one of the things he is resigning from becoming the head of Alibaba, because he wants to focus on education, because he's an educator. Okay, he knows this is a very big pain that we are facing. Okay, so we are talking about just now research, innovation, and we have to know where we are. Are we in IR 3.0, or we are in I 3.0, or we are in 4.0? Okay, so we are not yet we achieve 4.0, even with all the sophisticated things that we see. All right. Okay, let me just introduce. I want to introduce one. How many of you have heard about CT, computational thinking? Okay, I think many teachers, because it becomes what they call an instruction, I guess. Last year we worked with BPG and JPN, okay, to actually conduct CT. But this is CT for class. The what I mentioned is CT for classroom teaching. Okay, but the thing that here I'm mentioning is CT for research. Okay, not much difference. It's about thinking. It's about how we think. Okay, so what is actually CT? CT is actually a thought process. It's a thinking, like design thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking. It's about a thought process. Okay, if you compare with all this thinking, all of them similar definition. The first definition is thought process. Number two is a thought process involved in formulating problems and solution. Still familiar, right? Formulating problems and solution. But later on, it will be represented in a form that can effectively be used by an information processing agent. This is computational thinking. If you notice just now, all the IR 4.0 elements, everything is information processing. Okay? None of them actually know information which they couldn't make decision. The machine must receive information, either in terms of bits, data, information, and knowledge. They must get it so that they can make their own decision. They can react on that. Must. Okay? So, we as a designer, okay, we have to think, not to think like a computer, okay? We have to think better than a computer, but we must understand that every problem and solution that we formulate, we have to try to pass it to an information agent, okay? So here, to make things more general, even we can pass it to a combination of human and machine, okay? You can read a lot on computational thinking. So that point is very important, okay? So there are 6 concepts. There are so many concepts which are what they call connecting to each other, but I just focus on 6 concepts. Decompose patterns, abstractions, algorithm, logical reasoning, and evaluation. Okay, let me share. So decompose, if you are given, like, let's say a big problem, this is, we break it down into smaller part, and in computing we call it up to the module level and even sub-module level, okay? But don't think it's only for the computer people, okay? The reason I'm telling you this computational thinking is it's not only for computer science, IT people, no. It's actually for all, okay? And then number 2 is patterns. Everyone always, when they do research, okay, we have pattern. Even in questionnaire, my teacher used to tell me when I learned last time, if people in the questionnaire, they just slide like this, all answer number 3, what do you call it? I don't know what they call it. Questionnaire 1 until 10, the items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, strongly disagree, neutral, and so on. So if the guy just put neutral, that is considered invalid. Okay? Because very simple, that's a pattern. So what we do, we find pattern, we throw it out. If you give that pattern to a machine, the machine will look at the question, throw it out. Okay? Can you get my point? Or who actually defined the pattern? Human defined the pattern. So sometimes we saw some students, they just answer like zigzag. Okay? For the sake of, I don't know, just answer like zigzag. So my lecturer said, this is also out. Sir, how do you know? Out. Please tell me, how do you know? Don't ask. Out. I'll say, okay. So if that kind of rule becomes a rule in looking at the pattern, you can actually program an information processing agent to actually throw out that one. Okay? So it's very simple. Okay? And the generation Y likes it very much. Okay? That's why they are so close to this. Abstraction. Abstraction is actually where we hide information. We don't tell those complex things. Okay? For example, if I ask someone to tell me where is this campus, the guy will tell me, okay, the campus is very near to bus stand, not far from bus stand. So the landmark will be the signboard, okay, and maybe some other tower, okay. You don't need to tell me, okay, you go straight, go to the left, turn down, turun bukit, naik bukit, left, right, and you found. So that one is very complicated. So in the abstract level, we just tell those information which very simple, we already hide the bottom one. So there are many layers in this. So this skill, abstraction skill, is one of the most difficult skills or concepts in computational thinking. Okay, we have tested a lot. It depends on how we see, our common sense. Okay, the common sense is very different. Okay, algorithm is the most known to many because it requires step by step. Very simple. Algorithm is the simplest one for people to understand. It requires us to do step by step. Okay? So before you, even we ask small children also, they know. Okay? But only the terms are different. They call it step by step. Or tertib, like we pray. In Muslim we pray, so they have tertib. So that's algorithm. We cannot skip. Okay? And many more. Logical reasoning. It develops ability to reason logically. Okay? But how logic is this? How logic is it? So this question, when I was in Japan, my professor asked me, ZAIDI, can you think logically? I was like, huh? I think I already think very logic. Why you say to me you don't think logically? It's because we couldn't separate between the family part, non-professional part to the professional part. So that's the logic part that they want us to go. Just to share with you, I did need to do something in the road transport department in Japan. So my professor said, okay, you go, after you settle down, then you come back to me. Then you come for research. So I say, after I settle down, okay, let me settle down. After I settle down, I come back. Then he asked me, hey, have you settled down? Yeah, already. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, then we can start your research. After 2 weeks, road transport department called me again. So I have to go. I said, Sensei, sumimasen, I have to go to 60 kilometers. You know, the road is only 60 kilometers per hour. So you know how long it takes. Okay, 1 hour plus with the jam. So my sensei said, you told me you already settled down. Now you're telling me you're not settled down. Where is your logic? I was like, oh my God. Only that part also being queried. Okay? So different way of people in making reasoning. Okay? So which reasoning that you want to design for your machine? A humanized IR 4.0 Malaysian style? Or humanized IR 4.0 other country style? These are the questions because we are humanizing. And evaluation. Our evaluation is everything normally we done even in every field. The only thing is it requires us to relook our algorithm, the composition and so on. So these are some of the computational thinking concept and capability in several curriculum. And as I told you, it's not only used in computing. It's being used in other cross-curriculum, in computer science, math, science, social studies, language arts, and so on. Okay? Many more, abstraction, and so on. All right. Okay, I hope it's not so heavy. It's actually I touched very shallow part of IR 4.0, basically on the research and innovation. And the innovation part here is to understand where we are and to implement or actually to learn about computational thinking. Because CT concepts are recommended for problem and solution formulation, especially for IR 4.0. Okay, again, we have to pass that instruction to a machine. Okay, I can actually, if you want more to know about this, I can actually do a demo without computer on whether you are thinking using computational thinking concept. It's an unplugged activities. Okay, we do it. I always do it to my researcher, my PhD student, my master student. Why? Because I want them to understand that the problem and solution formulation will not stop at the thesis level. How many of us solve problem what it is still in the thesis level? It's common, right? Everywhere, all over the world. Okay? So at the end, they must develop something. My student, she studied about requirement on nuclear plant capacity planning. At the end of the day, she proved her results through simulation. So she did simulation. Okay? And one student who developed a mentor-mentee system. Mentor-mentee system, okay? Mentor for entrepreneur. What kind of mentor does the mentee want? So he developed a system on that too. So at the end of the day, it can be digitized. All right? We have to think on that. Okay? It is applicable in many disciplines, not particularly IT or CS. The outcome of concept, city concept, can be transferred to another human or machine or any information processing agent. Just remember that. Okay, so the outcome should be, it can be processed. Right? The concept is fundamental to IR 4.0 or I 4.0. Okay, the last one is very common. Learn, unlearn, relearn, and we have to practice because this one is part of understanding whether the computational thinking concept, okay, can be understood, not only understood, but buy-ins from the different discipline. Okay, when we talk to other different discipline, they tend to say, what, computational thinking? You think my field doesn't have thinking? I'm from mathematics, I have mathematics thinking. I'm from physics, I have physics thinking. I'm from science, I have science thinking. A lot of these things happen, but we don't want to fight. Okay, I'm advocating CT because I'm the deputy president for Malaysian Computational Thinking Society. Okay, so we want to actually help, especially collaborating in terms of putting all these problem formulation and problem formulation and solution formulation into an information processing agent. All right. Okay, so before I finish, I just want to share. We have this competition. We really like if students, it's only open for IPT students, okay, and Malaysian, and it's very simple. It's just submission of a 3 minutes video. Submission of 3 minutes video. So once the students are accepted, or we call it shortlisted, they will be attending a 4 days, 3 nights program in Kuala Lumpur. Everything will be covered by us. Everything. Okay? Except your transport from here to KL. Everything. Hotel, we will be staying in hotel, makan, everything. Of course, after 4 days, you will increase 2 kg. That one confirm. Because you makan always. Okay? But the reason we share this to you guys is because we want to make sure students are given chance to actually share their project idea. Okay, so project should be IR 4.0 oriented, towards IR 4.0. So it's very kena lah. I think it's really matched to what you are doing. So what they call, just now we were talking during breakfast, there's a lot of project, okay, from students and lecturers. Maybe can try and submit, okay? So, and this one is one of the biggest event we have every year. We run it, okay, with Techstars. Techstars is the top 3 startup developer. Okay, here is about technology entrepreneurship. The reason why I have to emphasize on technology entrepreneurship, even this is an education, because education must be also entrepreneurial. Okay, we know about that. And here you will learn about a lot of design thinking, computational thinking. Even they don't really tell you, but the way they do the hackathons are based on these approaches. Okay, so I really like you guys to, this one is open for student and non-student. Anyone is open, okay? But this one got fee. If I'm not mistaken, 50 ringgit for students, 80 ringgit for non-student. Okay. So my office is in UTM. Inside UTM, I have two buildings. UTM XCITE DINO is Division of Innovation, and UTM XCITE main office, and DK is Division of Entrepreneurship, Keusahawanan, DK. Okay, so please please like our Facebook. This is very important so that you can get all the updates from our activities, right? So this FB, we always update very fast. So try to visit us and see what are the things that interest you. Those are the calendar that we have. Okay, I think those 2 events, the big event I showed you just now, is very relevant to you. Okay, so all the output that you get if you're attending as students, please share with your lecturers. Okay, because it's really helpful in understanding how we do research and innovation. Okay, with that, I would like to thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada Profesor Madya, Dr. Ramesh ZAIDI ROZAN atas ucap utama pertama sebentar tadi. Sebagai tanda penghargaan dan terima kasih, dipersilakan Yang Berusaha Tuan Haji Muhammad Zain bin Badui untuk menjemput dan mengiringi Yang Berusaha Dr. Hajah Rusmini binti Ku Ahmad untuk naik ke atas pentas menyampaikan cenderamata kepada Profesor Madya, Dr. Ramesh ZAIDI ROZAN. Dipersilakan. Majlis merakamkan ucapan terima kasih. Hadirin sekalian, demikianlah berakhirnya majlis ucap tama pertama pada pagi ini.